Hello and welcome once again to Rhythm Room Music School here in Milton Keynes. Today I'm going to be showing you how to set up the Alesis Debut Kit, and once again everything you need is in the box apart from the trusty butter knife which we'll be using to get open the boxes. So I'm going to do that now, and let's get all these things out and start getting ready. Now this setup is much easier than a lot of the other Alesis kits, in that, as you can see here, it pretty much comes assembled, ready to go. The main things to note is that these longer parts of the base here, they're going to be facing towards you when you set the kit up, and you want to be pulling these pads on their mounts out to face you. So I'll just quickly do that now. Okay, so this is all now stood up, ready to go. So you want to make sure that the feet are fit the right way up and that everything's fairly stable. I've had to pull these pads out a little bit by loosening the connector that's back here, down here. Pull that out as well, and got the electric drum kit brain here over on the side. So there we go, that's ready to go here. Okay, next we're going to open the boxes that say accessories and cymbal pads. In your accessories box, you're going to be getting out the cymbal stands, which look like this. There's two of them. We're going to get them out. Now that we've got the cymbal stands out, we're going to put one in this connector here and one in this connector here. It doesn't matter which. So it's worth mentioning, with a little bit of force, you can push these stands down in through the housing and get them to the height that you would like to have your cymbals at. Oh, and here I forgot, we have the stand for the hi-hat pad, which goes into this connector here. And you can identify the difference between this one and the other two, because the other two will have bends in them, while this one is straight. Okay, we should have 3 cymbal pads in the box. You can put them on any one of the stands, it doesn't matter, they're all identical. When you put these on, you want to make sure that the felt goes on the top of the cymbal pad. Okay, with the main kit assembled now, we're going to get the drum thrown out. Okay, so we've got the drum thrown out now, and what we need to do is we need to remove this bolt here, because then that will go into this hole here and then allow us to choose the height at which the stool should be. It doesn't matter which end that you put in, because they're both identical and the distance between the ends of the poles and the holes are the same. So it's up to you to have a little play around and work out which height is the best for your child. So when you're setting this up for the person wanting to play the drums, you want to make sure that when they're sitting on that stool, their right leg, or their legs, are at slightly bigger than a right angle. So you don't want their legs to be at sort of a funny angle like that. We want to make sure that it's slightly bigger than a right angle, and also that it's high enough for them to reach, well, low enough I should say, to reach all of the pedals, and high enough to reach all of the pads on your drum kit as well. But I'll just pop this on the middle setting for now. Okay, with that set up, I'm going to put that to one side for now, and I'm going to grab the cables, the cable bag out of the accessories box, which is right here. Now in your accessories box, you're going to find in there a bag, which in it has this smaller bag that contains the drum key and 2 connections to connect the cable loom, which is this guy at the end here, into the electric drum kit brain. So you're going to need that, and we're going to be using them to plug that into the underside of the drum module brain. Okay, so you can remove the module, in order to put the cables in, which I'm going to do now. I'm using the screws here to screw that cable into the base of the drum kit brain. Okay, they're both in now, so I'm going to put the module back on the kit. Okay, so initially these cables might look very confusing, but they are all clearly labelled as to where they need to go. So in order for you to know what identifies as what, we've got obviously written on here, we've got Tom 1, so hi-hat control, HH control. Yep, so in order to know where to put everything, let's just go through the drums super quick. So this is the snare drum, or the snare. This is Tom 1, Tom 2, Tom 3. This is going to be your hi-hat, or just HH. This is crash 1, and this is ride 1. Okay, so and also before we plug all of these things, I'm going to jump back into the accessories box and grab out the two pedals, the hi-hat pedal, which will be on the left-hand side here, and the bass drum pedal, which will be in the middle of the kit here. Okay, these are the two pedals. They're absolutely identical, so it doesn't matter which side you put them on. So I'm going to pop that one down there and that one down here. All right, so I'm now going to go around and plug in each of these cables. Also, in the bag that can be found in the accessories box, there are a number of cable ties which will help you keep the cables nice and tidy as you go around the drums. So a little tip for the cable that's for the bass drum pedal or the kick, it's labelled as kick, is that rather than just feeding it straight from the brain to the pedal and having that cable dangling across the floor, I do like to wrap it around the kit a little bit so that it gives you just enough length to get down to the pedal there, and it just is a little bit tidier than having the cable running around all over the floor. Okay, we're nearly there now. So the next thing to do is to get out this little white box, because in here is your power adapter for the electric drum kit brain. Depending on where you are in the world, you'll be provided with a couple of different sockets to put into the plug socket that you provided. So I don't want the European one, I want the UK plug here. And so it's a fairly simple, he says, fairly simple case of sliding it in, connecting in. So that's ready to go. I'm going to plug that into the drum kit brain now. Connection point is nice and easy to find on this brain. It's just here on the back on the left hand side. Okay, that's the bulk of this done now. Just one last thing, we've got to go in, adjust a few bits and pieces and get things tightened up as well. So in the accessories box with the bag where you found the connection pins for the cables into the drum kit brain, you've got a little drum key here as well. So I'm going to be going around here and using it to tighten up these two connection points here, because I noticed when I was setting this up, it's a bit loose. The whole unit is able to be wiggled around like that. So you want to get it into an angle that you're comfortable with, which I'll talk about in a second, and get that tightened up. So I'm just going to go around, tighten this so the whole unit stops adjusting, and then we'll get everything into the position it needs to be. Okay, that's nice and tight now. I'm going to get everything into the position it should be and then talk you through what I've done. Okay, so here we are. What I did was I brought the hi-hat pad out a little bit to the left, so it makes that a little bit easier to reach with your right hand when you're playing the hi-hat up here with the right hand, and the snare drum, so we hopefully shouldn't have much clashing between sticks going on there. The cymbal stands, you want to have the bend in the stand away from you so that the pad is tilted towards you slightly like this. Now with your toms, with these pads here, the things that you really want to avoid is having it facing towards you at a really extreme angle. The reason you want to avoid that is because when you're playing the drum with your stick, if you've got it at too much of an angle, you end up stabbing the heads rather than striking them correctly. And that can obviously damage the heads and means that you'll be going back to the place that you bought the kit asking for a replacement skin pretty quickly. So you want to make sure that it's not completely flat. We don't want it totally flat away from the drummer. We want it slightly tilted towards them like that. So about there is a pretty good angle. We also don't want the floor tom, like the tom 3 pad and the snare pad being miles and miles away from everything else. So we don't want to be reaching long distances to get to the various parts of our drum kit. So we can tuck these in, we can pull these in so that we have a decent amount of space between the drums for our foot pedal to live. So kind of about there works. So we've not got a massive distance between each of the drums. Unfortunately, this kit, it won't allow you to bring that fully in, then you won't be able to tilt this towards you because of how it's positioned. So it does have to come out a little bit more like that. But there you go. That's the sort of angles you want things at. So there you go. That's set up now. Unlike a lot of the other kits that you find out there, this one actually comes with a lot of the stuff that you'll need to get started. So you're going to get a pair of drumsticks, a drum stool, and a set of headphones. So yeah, well, next step would obviously be plug this into an outlet, switch it on, and get drumming. So I hope this video helped. Please hit subscribe, leave some comments. I'd be very, very happy to read them and get back to any questions that you guys might have. But thank you, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Happy drumming.